Heard the saying, breaking up is hard to do, but our next guest wants to make sure your breakup doesn't break you. We welcome the author of Uncoupling, How to Survive and Thrive After Breakup and Divorce. Sarah Davison is with us today. Sarah, pleasure to have you on all the way from London and bedtime, so thank you.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Well, you wrote this book really wanting to help others after what you'd gone through, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I found out completely out of the blue that my husband no longer wanted to be married to me. And it hit me like a freight train. I didn't see it coming. My son was 1. And overnight, I became a single mum. And I also worked with my ex. So again, it was a huge life change for me. And I definitely did a lot of that ugly crying on the bathroom floor, thinking my life was over. And working through that pain, I realized I had a choice. And that it wasn't what happens to you in life that defines you, it's what you do about it that makes you the person you are. So that's when I decided to combine all my coaching skills, as I've been coaching for a long time by then, with the divorce process to find ways to heal my broken heart and get my life back on track, which are the tools I now share with people all over the world.
Yeah, you take the readers through 5 stages, right? And are those emotional and physical?
Yeah, it's really an emotional roller coaster that we go through. So the book contains lots of practical tips to help you with that roller coaster of emotions. I believe that we all control the remote control to our brain, but most of us just don't know how to use it. So what I show you is how to dial down those negative emotions where we really get stuck. And also those practical challenges like becoming a single parent or maybe starting to date again, which for some people after a long time of being in a relationship can be really challenging.
So what are some of the steps? Because today we're talking about spring cleaning, right, after divorce.
Absolutely. And I think this is a perfect time as we're coming into spring. And what a perfect time if you're struggling with a breakup to detox your ex right out of your life. So spring cleaning them right out. And I think one of the first places to look, if you are struggling with heartbreak right now, is your home environment. Very often we get stuck just by little things that trigger us around our own home that maybe unconsciously we don't even really recognize. So it might be things, for example, when you reach for your coffee in the morning in your favorite mug, maybe that's something that reminds you of your ex. Or maybe it's a t-shirt that you bought together on a trip, or maybe a piece of furniture. So actually putting things away to one side for now, if it's a photograph or something like the mug, just box it up and put it out of sight. We're not talking about destroying things though at this stage. It's about just putting things out of sight. So every time you see them, they don't trigger those negative emotions again.
Don't burn them yet.
Not yet, maybe later, but we don't want to live with any regrets. So don't do anything just by knee-jerk reaction for sure.
Well, then you say to clean out your emotional closet. What does that look like?
Well, again, emotions can keep us stuck. So if you are struggling with any difficult negative emotion, it's really important to identify specifically what that emotion is so it doesn't keep you trapped. One of the things we fall into actually, which is very common, but a lot of us will do it, is we will tell our sad story about the breakup over and over and over again. And whilst this is normal, what it actually does is it triggers the brain to remember all those negative emotions associated to that story. So we keep telling it over again and triggering those negative emotions in ourselves. So the trick here is to swap that negative story, which triggers those negative emotions, with something maybe that you're planning to do that's exciting in the future, something new, maybe a new hobby or hanging out with friends that maybe you weren't really that close to or you didn't get a chance to see so much during your relationship. So creating that breakup bucket list, if you like, to give you something else to look forward to.
What do you do with the anger?
Well, there's lots of great things you can do with anger. Obviously, getting a punch bag is a really good thing. Moving your body is going to be key here because anger resides in the body. So it's very hard to talk yourself out of anger. I don't know if you've ever told anyone to calm down when they're angry. That doesn't really work very well. In fact, sometimes it has the opposite effect. So actually moving your body physically is going to help. So even if that's getting out of the house, being in nature, looking at and also reframing what anger means to you. So if anger is like, why have they done this to me? What's wrong with me? And getting angry at that, try to flip that into more of a learning experience. I know it's quite challenging, but actually to look at it as, adversity is making me stronger, or I'm learning a lot about myself right now that's going to help me move forward. Again, changing the questions we're asking ourselves in our head and replacing them with more empowering ones will help you move forward through those really sticky, tough emotions.
We have less than a minute, so I want you to touch on the clean out your financial expectations.
Yeah, with this, it's really about getting clarity about your finances. Even if you don't like what you might find, if you know what the challenges are, where the gaps maybe in your budget might be as you separate your lifestyles, then at least you can put a plan together to make up those gaps, maybe create another income stream or cut back. So looking at your finances, but don't worry if the settlement isn't what you want it to be. You've got the rest of your life to generate a new income stream or find another way to earn some money. So don't get too hung up on where you are right now. There's always other opportunities.
Sarah, great tips for everyone. Thank you so much again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you.
And she has a podcast as well, you guys. There's her book, Uncoupling. We're going to have a link to Sarah on our website at KATU.com. Don't go away. More of Afternoon Live when we come back.